starting a good start is almost 50% of the whole preparation. So can you shed some light related to that?
It requires a lot of motivation from inside and a lot of courage and a lot of consistency throughout so as to cope up with the examination things, processes, etc.
Rahul, just before this podcast started, you were referring to the how you used AI in your preparation.
I used AI in terms of searching different examples there. What I used to do is I used to inculcate case studies.
Can you tell us what exactly is the role of time management?
I think time management is a crucial aspect in this examination.
Now you have focused a lot on answer writing during your preparation times. So when should a candidate start answer writing?
In this process, I think completion of a subject is important. The student should rely upon collecting knowledge first, because any answer would require a body.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to KGS Talks. We are here with Rahul Nagpal, rank 421 in Civil Services 2025 examination. He has qualified this examination in his fourth attempt, and he has also been previously associated with KGS. We are honored to bring this podcast to all of you from one of our own, Rahul Nagpal. Rahul, welcome and very congratulations for clearing this examination.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me here. It's an honor talking to you at this platform. My name is Rahul Nagpal and I'm born and brought up in Delhi only. My schooling and graduation has been completed from Delhi. My schooling was from Sarvodaya Vidyalayas, the government schools. Later on, I went to Pratibhas and again to Sarvodayas. My graduation has been pursued from Swami Shraddhanand College, Delhi University, and I am a graduate from Applied Life Sciences. Post then, I have completed my post graduation from IGNOU in Environmental Sciences, and recently I've qualified UGC NET examination as well. And here I'm sitting as All India rank 421 after clearing this examination.
Rahul, one of the basic confusion related to this examination is how to begin the preparation. Like a lot of students who have or who are willing to start preparing for civil services, they do not have access to access to basic strategy as to how to begin this preparation. And as we know, starting a good start is almost 50% of the whole preparation. So can you shed some light related to that?
So I think it is important to get the process started with a boost, because throughout the process, the examination indeed is a tedious process, because one has to go through almost 1.5 years of intense preparation before sitting into the examination. So it requires a lot of motivation from inside and a lot of courage and a lot of consistency throughout so as to cope up with the examination things, processes, etc. It is important to note that the correct time to start the preparations is when one decides to be the part of this examination process, because the determination comes from that very point. After that, the consistency matters. So any aspirant who has been into the process of appearing into the examination, he should start by reading NCRTs, by going through them. They can take guidance either from the freely accessible materials or their peer groups or anyone who is well versed with the curriculum, etc. But they should start preparing from the scratch, that is from NCRTs, because they are designed in such a manner that the student who is not well versed with the subjects, for example, one may come from humanities, the other may come from science backgrounds, so the counterpart for them might not be as easy as it should be to appear. So they can start reading the NCRTs and get used to the corollary that is there into the books, and then they can slowly go through the previous year questions, because that is the only guide along with the syllabus of UPSC.
Okay. So once a candidate has started his preparation regarding regarding this services, what should be the next step? Like choosing an optional, because this is one of those decisions which UPSC gives all the candidates to take. Rest, each and everything is no, there is no choice. But related to optionals, there is. So, what should be the timeline to choose an option? When in in what stage of his preparation an individual should go for his optional, and are there any specific guidelines that one should think of or one should follow before going deciding that this is going to be his optional?
So I would like to share my personal insights that I usually share with the students who reach out to me in order to get their optionals advice, etc. Being a mentor with KGS, I have been into the process of this. So the first thing I used to tell the students is they can consider four different parameters in this. The parameter of utmost importance will be the interest of the candidate, because any optional, considering the length of the subject and the details that are being asked into the mains examination, it is important that the student should carry an interest. Otherwise, he might not be able to cope up with the syllabus. First of all, if in any case they are into the process and they take more than one attempts, then it will be a dicey situation, and many a time students feel to switch their optionals. So being carrying the interest into the optional is important, because they will be coping up with that very optional, and when they read again and again, they will go through, they will be able to read in between the lines. That is, I think, important in the process. To uh, to adjust with any optional, you need to develop an interest, first of all. Second, I refer the student, if they are able to get an interesting factor there, then they should go through the previous year questions and the syllabus, because familiarity with the syllabus and previous year question is of utmost importance. Then uh, I usually recommend students to write the answers of those questions, not specifically the answers, but the key points, what they consider uh, should go into that very answer, so that they can correlate that without preparations, how much they are able to correlate with that very optional or that very concept. Thirdly, the time span matters. If the optional is too long, it may be difficult for the student to cope up with that very syllabus and revise and write answers for it, because practice is required when we are sitting in the mains examination. So that will be the third aspect.
So when you decided that public administration was to be your optional, what are the specific things that you took into consideration, specifically your preparation strategy? What was your preparation strategy regarding public administration?
So with respect to deciding my optional, I took almost 3 to 4 months after being used to with the GS subjects and their overlaps with the optional. I think that was the fourth point I was missing there. So the overlap is important. So I considered both the factors here: my interest in the optional as well as the overlapping factor of the optional. So after being into the preparations for 3 to 4 months, I was able to inculcate that how much overlap is there with respect to public administration, and I got interest into it, so I went with that optional, and I think that optional helped me a lot in improving my exam and in improving my marks in my essay paper, my paper two, specifically the polity and governance part, as well as my ethics papers to some extent.
Okay. And what are your preparation suggestions to students who have already chosen their optional to be public administration?
Uh, so I think uh, some points are very common with respect to every optional, that you have to go through the content properly. You have to start reading in between the lines. You have to understand the question before jumping into that discussion. But specifically, if we talk about public administration, I think using real time examples, using proven case studies as the examples is uh, is a key in this particular paper, because answer writing might seem relevant or subjective if we are discussing generalized points, but making those generalized points relevant can be done through an example or a case study that I used to follow in this.
Rahul, just before this podcast started, you were referring to the how you used AI in your preparation, and I see a lot of students right now preparing. They tend to refer to AI also. But what are your suggestions as to how precisely AI can help us in our preparation?
So first thing is the language prompt with respect to AI, I would say, because in the optional as well, when we are writing an answer, the writing style or the language of the optional is of utmost importance. That I have developed through my foundation program as well, and with your guidance, I was able to cope up with it. With respect to the I used AI in terms of searching different examples there. What I used to do is I used to uh, inculcate case studies of good governance, and I used to give the prompt to AI that how can I use the same case study in different aspects of public administration papers. For example, in good governance, since the area was there in overlapping with paper 2, I used to segregate those examples. I used to segregate the examples of Indian administration there. I used to correlate the authors or the thinkers there in the paper 1 with different case studies. Those are there into the process, or those are there into the news recently. So I collected them, I segregated them and clustered them as per my requirements of the different papers. That's how AI helped me a lot. But one thing I would say that I used to cross verify that information again, because trusting blindly over the AI might be slightly difficult. So I used to cross verify that fact, and then I used to use those particular cases in my answers.
Rahul, for our listeners, can you tell us what exactly is the role of time management? As first of all, you were already working for the organization. So, first of all, in preparation, how important it is to appropriately manage your time. Secondly, when you are writing your mains examination, so even mains does require a lot of time management. So, can you simplify how you know how you were able to master this art of time management for our listeners?
Um, Thank you, sir, for breaking this very aspect, because I think time management is a crucial aspect in this examination. Uh, I was working as well as preparing for this examination, because that was my requirement. For that particular aspect, I used to have almost 4 hours a day. Since my foundation was done, it was merely about revising the concepts, uh, correlating them with the previous year questions, and then applying that particular knowledge. So I what I used to do is I used to keep three different slots. Since I knew I don't have much of that time based leverage so that I can revise each and every aspect of it, I used to do reverse engineering. In that, I usually try to attempt the prelims questions first, the PYQs as well as the test series. From that, I used to analyze where I am weak, in which concepts I am lagging, and then I used to prepare upon those concepts first. Along with it, I used to rely upon my peripheral knowledge. For example, if I am solving a history questions, I used to draw different timelines there, and from different timelines, I used to correlate different concepts. So that peripheral knowledge helped me a lot in solving many statements or questions that were, I think, not possible through the conventional revision. So that process helped me a lot. In terms of answer writing, before this final 20-day or 30-day buffer of writing full length examination after taking leave from the organization, I used to write sectional papers. I used to write papers with 100 marks, 10 questions, 8 questions format papers. That process helped me a lot in gaining the momentum of writing. So I segregated the process into different phases. First phase was mainly revision and attempting one sectional paper daily. The second phase was intense writing there and only focusing upon the crucial aspects, example correlation, and connecting the dots through the revision, core revision aspect, and more focus upon intense writing.
See, as you know, what we can conclude from what you're saying is that you have you have focused a lot on answer writing during your preparation times. So when should a candidate start answer writing? Because there is a lot of confusion surrounding this. A lot of students, they when they start their preparation, they also they start answer writing. So is that the right time, or should they take some time, or they should start answer writing once their syllabus has been completed? When is the right time to start answer writing?
So first thing is that being slightly subjective matter, I don't think that any time should be considered as an ideal time there. The right time can be dependent upon various factors that could have been the intellect of the student, his learning capabilities, and his writing skills. In this process, I think completion of a subject is important. The student should rely upon collecting knowledge first, because any answer would require a body that should include some concrete ideas. So going through the subject at once is important. Before getting that knowledge, it will not be able to generate any concrete point into the answer. So first, I would say that one module should be completed, one subject should be completed, then the student can start writing upon it. Throughout the completion of the module, the student can focus upon making bullet points or making short notes of the topics that he or she is going through. That process may build some momentum and help the student get an idea of what should be there into the answer and what should be avoided. So that process can help, and after completion of that subject, they can refer the previous year questions, because they are the best ever guide there in the process. So they can start with that, and they can focus upon body part. They can refer AI, they can refer previous year copies or toppers copies for the intro and conclusion part, but they should progress in a specified manner. They can start with making some short points, some paragraphs writings, and then they can complete that into a full-fledged answer.
Okay, so what we can say is that the focus initially should be on gaining information. Once an individual, a candidate has information, the next step should be more of structuring of answers, where they focus on bullet points, and then full-fledged answers could be the next step that they should adopt. Okay, coming back to your optionals, Rahul, one thing that I would like to ask is, uh, how did this optional, because public administration is an optional which seems to be a bit technical. So what is your view related to that optional? How did this optional help you in your, when you have qualified this examination? What is the role that has been played by the optional?
The role of this optional was immense, sir, I would say, because as I already told, that the optional carries some overlapping impacts over paper 2, even essays, paper 4, the ethics paper, and the optional indeed. So that helped me a lot. I used to collect the examples there, and those common examples I used to quote in different areas. For example, if I can remember, I used two of the ancient Indian administration's examples in my essay paper. Uh, Good governance wale aspect mein I used to keep multiple examples, and even I think in ethics paper, the case studies I used to mention majorly they were from the optional paper only.
Okay, so according to you, the optional helped you a lot. Now, Another point of confusion for candidates who have started is the current affairs part. So, did you pay any specific attention to current affairs, or did you gather knowledge just from your, newspaper reading, or there was any specific ritual that you followed for current affairs?
So newspaper reading, I would say, is one of the critical aspects, because reading newspaper is not just only about inculcating current affairs. It is about learning new things. It is about developing a knowledge, developing a writing skill there, a language that you are going to present in the examination. So I used to keep one slot in the morning for newspaper reading, and I usually tried not to skip that particular section. With respect to different areas where I missed somehow the current affairs, I used to refer different test series and one or two compilations. Those compilations helped me in identifying the key areas where somewhere I might not have given much focus, and the test series helped me identifying the recurring topics there. So be it any test series, the process remains same. The areas of importance are already there in the test series, be it KGS test series or any other. uh, those recurring topics I used to prepare. I used to focus upon them in terms of mains as well as prelims examination, and I used to prepare majorly upon only those topics.
There are two questions that I would like to ask you, without which this podcast would not be, no, it would not be right to conclude this. First is the role of your family. So, how did your family support you throughout your journey as a aspirant?
So indeed, the role of my family was immensely important, because before entering into UPSC civil services preparation, I was a working professional though, and I left my job to start preparing full-fledgedly for at least 1.5 years. So in this process, they helped me a lot. Their emotional support was there with me. Their financial support was there with me, even in crunch moments when I was feeling demotivated, or I used to get a dicey mindset whether I should continue my preparation with my work life or my professional career, or should I leave my professional career and go into full-fledged preparations again. They were always supportive, and they used to say that whatever your decision will be, uh, we will be supporting you. So their support was there, immensely present. And I would like to mention my peer group, my friends, because those some of those friends helped me a lot in different aspects of my preparation, be it emotional contingencies or be it technical knowledge. They used to share different insights from different current affairs related materials that helped me nurture my preparation. And whenever I used to feel low, I used to share different problems with them, and they were always there to listen that.
Of course, friends along with family do, they do contribute to our success a lot. And another question which I would like to ask is, you being a member of the KGS family, how did KGS contribute to your success?
So the role of KGS was indeed very decently important, because right from exposure to different study materials and academic things, KGS role was there into um, the smooth conduct of my process. I started my career as content writer in KGS from here Noida office only, and then I got the opportunity uh, to be transferred to Karol Bagh branch, where I got that specific ecosystem, checking students' answers, getting diverse opinions, diverse points, helped me a lot in expanding my horizon. Uh, Secondly, my colleagues, my seniors helped me a lot. For example, Basavaraj sir, the senior mentor, was there, my former colleague, who used to evaluate my answers and help me identify the mistakes and my strengths into the answer writing. Thirdly, I would like to mention the role of various faculties, including you, including Tripathi sir, including Shivesh sir, Kinshuk sir, etc., who helped me uh, identifying my strengths in different subjects, and those small technical errors that I used to make in presenting my answers. So that helped me a lot in executing my answers in a better mechanism. Uh, the test series, the KGS test series, specifically the optional ones, I used to write the optional answers, and I remember I used to send those to you. And after your schedule, uh, we used to have a discussion over it, and I was able to get those slight distinctions that I might have left somewhere in my foundation. Those loopholes were filled there, and managerial role was also there, sir. From smooth approvals of leaves to the in-house support, everything was in my favor, so that I can simply excel this examination this time.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us. This podcast is going to be, it's going to be very insightful for students who are likely to prepare or are still in this preparation, and it is going to help them a lot. Thank you. A very, very congratulations once again. I hope that you were a very sincere student, and similarly, you'd become a sincere bureaucrat as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.